You.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a Tuesday night, and we are not at the world's most famous arena. We are in Detroit, where Thursday night, surprising to us, maybe, there will be a Game 6 as the Pistons come out with a 106-103 nail-biting, ugly offensive game, but both teams play pretty good defense. A lot of missed free throws for both teams, but you know what? Who gives a shit? Persistence, the mettle of this team. Pistons win the game, man.
Yeah, I decided to go nostalgic with what I was wearing, and obviously you did too. We did not coordinate this in the league.
No.
You're right. It was such an ugly basketball game for the majority of the game. Now, down the stretch, I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah.
You saw Cade Cunningham look like a superstar, which, let's be honest, through the first three quarters, not so much.
No.
And then, boom. You know why? Because he started hitting the free throws. He started getting to the line. Stoney, that was exciting. It was exhilarating. And you know what? We get another game of basketball come Thursday.
I know. And, boy, you talked about that place is going to be crazy Thursday night. But let's talk about the game. And you look at the box score without watching the game. Asar Thompson. I mean, what can you say? 22 points, most of them on dunks and follows up and things like that. Did miss 6 free throws, 7 rebounds. He was an all-time stud tonight. Big game for him. Cade, like you mentioned, I mean, 6 for 17. He was hesitant. He couldn't make anything. But, you know, when you make 11 of your 12 free throws, not close to a triple-double. He did have 24 points. And Tobias Harris, you know, he didn't do much in the fourth quarter, as we know his history is, but came up with some big rebounds. There's some nice passes going on. So everybody who played contributed. They contributed good and they contributed bad, but it doesn't make a difference. They win the game. And Evan, I got to say once again, and I don't know, I'm not going to harp on this because they won. JB Bickerstaff almost cost them a game by giving them a technical foul, giving them a point, and then once again a challenge. Now, at least it was in the fourth quarter this time, but man, it just was. I don't care what Tobias was saying. It was so it was going to be close one way or the other. Why do that? And then you get the technical foul. Man, I don't know.
Well, the angle that they showed with him grabbing the jersey, how somebody didn't have that already, that was the giveaway right there. You can't grab the jersey and you're going to get called. And what's great about Asar is we talked about him last podcast was the fact that he hadn't really shown up too much throughout the first, 4 games where he really stood out. And tonight he really, really stood out. And you know what? Whatever they saw on film or whoever was the coach that implemented that backdoor play, Tony, he was open at least, 5-6 times on that same exact play where it was as easy as could be for him to get that basket. And then you've got all the foul shots as well. Now, he was better down the stretch than he was early on at the free throw line. But you got to give the kid his props for really bouncing back and having a huge game when they needed him the most.
No doubt. And look, for a while that, you know, the stars of the game and the stars of their teams, Cade was obviously struggling like we talked about. And Brunson, 4 for 16.
Dude, he was bad.
4 personal fouls. Cat, 5 for 14, 11 rebounds. He got in foul trouble. I thought he sat out a little too much if I was a Knicks fan. I mean, and then late in the game, I mean, those threes, Ochi hitting that 3, I said, oh my God. And they're fortunate on the inbounds that they got the right bounce too. Because
that and the Bridges 3
yes.
too. I mean, Bridges hadn't hit all game, and I'll tell you what, that guy does not want to go to the rim for a free throw. He'd rather do a free throw line jumper than he ever would be for a layup. And it's amazing to watch that, but it is what it is. But you're right, Brunson was so bad tonight from all aspects. He hit one big 3 there, but I mean, he wasn't a threat to them. And you know what? They bullied the bully tonight.
Yes, they did.
Really did. Yeah, and that was impressive to see, and they didn't back down. And what I was going to say is I was thinking about this episode as the game was going on, is that the Pistons are really successful, it seems like, for about 9 minutes of the game of mucking it up, playing their basketball, and then it seems like the Knicks get something back on track. But in the fourth quarter, they were able to maintain their style of basketball, which they hadn't been able to do the last couple games.
I know, and yeah, you made a great point with the diagramming of the plays or whatever they did to get us Asar in a position to score. where he actually looked a little bit like his brother a little bit in this game, who's the better Thompson usually. But, everybody, Schroeder, when he came in, they needed him at times. He was good. Beasley hit a few, but he still is not what he was in the regular season. Hardaway had a tough game shooting, and they all did. And, so did the Knicks. I mean, it was, the game was officiated a little tighter than the last game. There's no doubt about that. There was, some of the one foul that Cade got called for, an offensive foul. It was like, really? What the hell are you looking at? That was like Josh Hart was all over. And there was a Brunson play where, I don't know, looked like he was moving. But you know what? I'm sure there are a lot of calls in New York that they don't like either. So I'm not bitching about the officiating.
Well, and we also have to give our props to a guy that we're very hard on, and that is the Pirate, Tobias Harris.
Mm-hmm.
My man gets poked in the eye like he's Rudy Gay in the NCAA tournament. You thought the thing fell out.
Yeah.
And then he comes out and he's unconscious. He's knocking down threes.
Yes.
He's hitting twos. I'm like, oh, my God. And even Iron Eagle said, with one eye, he nails it.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's a feel-good story. I mean, and the defense, they did they did a little hack of Robinson at times, which was smart. Boy, he's been better than I'm sure they even expected for them.
Down the stretch was smart, was following up three. I
Yes.
mean, how many times do we yell about it in college basketball, and to do it in the NBA, it's like, it's an obvious thing. You have to do it.
Yeah. So, team basically, except for the challenge and the technical, well coached. The Pistons' best player struggled most of the game. I'm talking about Cade, but in the fourth quarter, he kind of took over the game. I think he ended up with 9 points, I think, in the fourth quarter, if my math is correct. I could be off by a little bit, but he had some really good dimes in the fourth quarter as well. And,
his defense.
Yes.
He had a couple nice blocks. I mean, the Pistons were all over on the blocks tonight. And, I mean, Stoney, they mucked it up just right, and they were able to hit big-time shots when they needed to. And most importantly, they hit their free throws down the stretch, which most of the time you're like, oh, my goodness, come on. But you're right, Stoney, they didn't collapse down the stretch, which we had seen so many times. And, and you got to be impressed with that.
Yeah, and look, to be honest, I was waiting for it to happen, because you just look at the history. The Knicks, I mean, as bad as the Pistons free throw shooting was, the Knicks wasn't much better either. I mean, they shoot like 60% from the line or something like that. And man, oh man, it's just
59%.
Yeah. And the Pistons, I lost my page here, but yeah, they weren't probably about 65 or 70% is my guess right now. But
also, just looking at the box score too, like the Knicks, in order for them to win, a lot of their starters got to play 40 minutes, which they weren't able to do because they got into foul trouble. So if they're playing Mitchell Robinson 23 minutes and Miles McBride 22, that's probably not a good sign for the Knicks.
Yeah, correct. And the bottom line also, they couldn't get Brunson and Hart especially, but Brunson back in the game after, you kind of thought, oh, here we go again. It's Jalen Brunson, going to do the Willis Reed thing again. But he was obviously hurt because it's such a crucial time, he had to sit out. And they couldn't get they didn't want to take their last time out to get him back in the game, and that could have been costly.
Well, and the good thing is much as the NBA wants to slow play the opening round, at least this next game is at Thursday, so it's got to play into the Pistons' advantage. It's not good for an ankle. It's not good for an ankle to then go fly with that hurt ankle. So, I mean, you got to think that benefits the Pistons.
Yes, you absolutely would. And looking at the stats of the game for the Knicks, OG led them with 19 points, 3 threes. The Cat had 17. So did Bridges. Bridges 7 for 16 from the field. Brunson, like I said, just 16 with 4 for 16. A lot of that is attributed to some good defense too. Josh Hart, just a pest. He had a good game with 15 points. And like we talked about Mitchell Robinson, Payne did nothing, 1 for 3. McBride 2 for 7. And when you look at the Pistons, and they had some pretty balanced scoring. You got 2 guys in the 20s. Cade with 24, 6 for 17. But he had 8 assists, and a lot of them were timely assists, 8 rebounds, 11 for 12 from the line. Thompson, 22 points, 7 rebounds. Got to shoot better than 50% from the line. He was 6 for 12. Tobias Harris, give him credit. 17 points, 8 rebounds. And Duran, if he can stay out of foul trouble, he did play 33 minutes.
He's a presence out there.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He was a plus 17. He was their leading guy. If you care about the plus minus, plus 17 with his just 9 points, but once again, 14 rebounds, and they were evenly divided between offense and defense with 7. And Paul Reed gets in there and just mucks it up for 11 minutes.
He does. And I mean, it's not pretty by any means, but he's making sure his name gets mentioned on TV. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And you also got to love Stoney, just being the East Coast kind of guy that you are. The Knicks not being able to close it out at home. God, that's got to make you happy to see all those New Yorkers going home pissed off tonight.
Yeah, they are. One of my friends is at the game, so I can't wait to hear from him a little later. He says the varsity game starting now that the JV game he called the Indiana-Milwaukee game. That's what they are in New York. And, there were some pretty good celebrities in the mix today in there. Johnny McEnroe.
They didn't really put too many of them on TV, though.
I know. Now, my daughter thought she saw Calvin Johnson. Did you?
No, I don't. Now that I'm thinking back, I don't remember them really showing any celebrities.
Well, they never mentioned one of them that I, of course, would notice, which was Steven Van Zandt was sitting there near the Pistons bench, front row, right there. Because the only way I could see him, was because of the bandana.
You're talking about the guy of Sopranos fame,
yes,
right?
Yes, Silvio Dante of the Sopranos, and he's in his band.
What he's best known for. His own
band. Yes, the little
Steven
and the Disciple of Souls. Yes, his own band. Yes, and of course, yes, Stevie Van Zandt's Stevie's Underground Garage. Absolutely, Little Steven's Underground Garage. And
wait, is that a real thing?
Yeah, Underground Garage. It's channel 20. No, it's
Garage Band.
No, it's 21 on Sirius XM.
Wow, of course.
It's great. It's a good channel anyway because they play a lot of weird stuff. They'll go from Motown right into like the White Stripes. I mean, it's all over the board. It's kind of cool in a way.
Yeah, it's just Stoney. At the end of the day, for Tuesday night at 10:45, you got to be happy. You're going to sleep happy. You got another day to think about Piston basketball, things that. Stoney, when we started this podcast, obviously we called it Restore the Floor. And yes, if they win a title, the floor is restored. We understand that. But we never thought that they would be here as soon as they are. And the fact that they are, and we're watching it, and it's enjoyable, and it's not like the last time they went to the playoffs and just got their ass kicked. Yeah. This is a legit team that's learning on the fly. They're young. They're maturing in front of our eyes, which is so impressive to see because these kids are 23 and under. And it's like, think about what you were doing at that age. None of us were doing this.
No, I can't say what I was doing at that age. Especially actually, this time at night I was working, and then once 11:30 hit after the news, then we don't want to talk about that. So yeah, it's great. And once again, a Stoney prediction is wrong. I had Knicks in 5.
I had him in 6, so I could be proven wrong on Thursday.
You know what? I hope it goes 7, obviously. Obviously, you want them to win, and Costa would be right if they wanted 7. And boy, he'd be smarmy about that pick. But
you think you'd hear about it?
Yeah, but seriously, though, forgetting about that, God, it would be so nice to win, just to win one of the home games. I mean, they're 2-1 at the Garden, and they're 0-2 at LCA. If they lose Thursday, that's 0-3 at home. And
sometimes it's easier to play on the road, man. It's less pressure almost. It's so weird to say that, but it really is. That everybody in the building hates you for the wrong reasons, and or for the right reasons, and when you're at home, they hate you for the wrong reasons. So I mean, who knows? I'll be interested to see the spread. I thought it was big tonight for some reason at 5.5.
I know.
I bet it's another one of those 1.5 point deals.
You know what I did? You know what I did have? I bet the Knicks in the first quarter -1.5.
Oops.
And they won by 1 the first quarter. I lost by 0.5. Thank you very much.
It's because you bet it.
Exactly. My friends call me Mush for a reason. I'm the worst. I am the absolute worst. Yes, I love it. Exactly. All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And those who are not watching or listening on Wednesday or late Tuesday night, whenever. This will be up for you to listen to as well. We will be back Thursday. I'll be at Little Caesars Arena. Maybe Ed, maybe you can get a credential and we can both do the show from there. That would be cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know. It's gonna.
I got this little thing upstairs.
I understand, and I actually found out I'm working tomorrow, 10 to 2 with Doug, and Friday with Gator. So it's yeah.
Wow,
So I'll see you tomorrow, up close and personal.
Sounds good.
All right, we thank everybody for listening. Another episode will be Thursday night. Thanks for listening to Restore the Floor. Peace out.